It was kind of a heat of the moment thing. Old feelings came back and just...
For you?
Not
You
what you were
slept
saying
with
when
her.
you were saying you missed me.
So she's the mother of 2 of your other children. So there's something about her you like a lot.
That he slept with me when they came to visit.
No.
Just recently, 2 weeks ago.
And what would you let him know, Miss Via?
That I messed around with the person I left with.
Was it always the same person?
Basically, yeah.
No, Your Honor, she
Yes,
cheated
it was.
8 different times with 8 different people.
8 different times with
Yes,
8
ma'am.
different people.
In the beginning, no.
This case is wild right from the start, like popcorn-worthy drama wild. Judge Lake introduces Gamboa Vibav Gamboa, and Mrs. Gamboa says she's tired of being accused of cheating, even with the babysitter. And trust me, this mess is just getting started.
With your husband because he's repeatedly accused you of cheating, even with the babysitter. You're here today to set things straight because you say his doubt about paternity has led to the emotional neglect of your 1-year-old son, Dominic.
You ever hear something so crazy, you gotta rewind just to make sure you heard it right? Mrs. Gamboa admits the babysitter was in their bedroom, and Judge Lake's face says it all. Just when it seems bad enough, we find out who let the babysitter in.
The babysitter was in the bed at the time that Mr. Gamboa came home, but I did not cheat on him.
The babysitter was in the bed?
Yes, on top of the bed.
I was at work, Your Honor, and I got a phone call because we're all living in the same house. My stepfather had called me saying that the babysitter was asleep in my room on the floor with the door shut with my wife in there.
Plot twist, Mr. Gamboa picked the babysitter in the first place. He let the guy move in because he was homeless, but now he's freaking out. And just when you think this man has made all the bad choices, he drops a huge personal bombshell.
The male babysitter was his decision in the first place. It was a mutual friend of ours
And we
that
had-
he knew
you said
more
that
than
we
I
had
did.
dis-
He was not living with us at the time. And Mr. Gamboa offered him to stay with us because he was homeless with his 2 children.
No, we had
So you
both-
took in his children.
Right, and ever since then, it's a living hell for me. I regret it till this day. I tried to help a friend out, and I ended up
Well, it seemed
paying
like
for it
every-
with this.
This is the moment that makes the audience go, wait, what? Mr. Gamboa says he had mumps as a kid and thought he couldn't have kids. But instead of being relieved, he somehow still finds a reason to doubt his own son.
I had severe mumps, teenage age, infertility. I was previously with my ex for about 5 years, and I could not conceive with her at all. Yes,
Conceiving
Your
a
Honor. I was
child with
told
a
by
woman
the- I was
because
Why
told-
of
did
having-
he did not deny our first son
I
and
was
only
told-
Dominic? He shouldn't deny our only Dominic and not our first son.
This is straight up uncomfortable. Mr. Gamboa admits he hasn't bonded with Dominic because the baby cries around him. Mrs. Gamboa pulls out a video showing just how little effort he puts in as a dad.
He's mostly with his mom. He will not come to me. He cries. He throws a fit.
Brought
So, I mean,
video
there's-
of it. He doesn't bond with him. He doesn't do anything with him. He don't
at
change a
the time with
diaper.
our
He don't
first
pick
son-
him up. He don't
At the
do
time
nothing.
with our first son, I was always, I
Okay,
wasn't
just
working.
one moment.
The whole courtroom gasps at this one. Mrs. Gamboa says after she gave birth, her husband left to get clothes, but never came back for 2 days. Judge Lake is not buying his excuse.
When I gave birth to Dominic, Mr. Gamboa was there 13 hours throughout my pain. He cut the umbilical cord, gave him a kiss, took pictures with him. 20 minutes after I gave birth to Dominic, he left, gave me a kiss saying he was gonna go get clothes and come back. He never came back for 2 days, Your Honor.
No,
2
Your Honor, I
days.
had work. Still had to go to work. I didn't take the.
That's a
I
lie.
didn't have
That's a
family
lie.
leave act.
The video evidence is painful to watch. Dominic reaches for his dad, and Mr. Gamboa just stands there like a statue. Judge Lake is ready to explode, but then he makes things even worse.
Okay, that's your son. Go get him. Like, what the heck? You walked away. You turned your back on him.
I've never turned my back
You
on.
just
I've
turned your
taken care
back.
of him.
Now he's climbing. No concern.
It's hard.
whatsoever.
And that's a concrete part.
Grab him.
No.
Now the drama is at its peak. Mr. Gamboa says if the baby isn't his, he's walking away, and Mrs. Gamboa claps back, saying if the test proves it, he needs counseling. And just like that, we head straight to the DNA results.
If he's not my biological son, I have to walk away from marriage because I mean that she was just lying to me the whole time with the babysitter sleeping in the room. Like from my own stepfather calling me and telling me and her believing. Why would you believe the babysitter?
That's he say, she say. You should believe your wife, or you should come
Well, how
to your
come you
wife.
didn't call your husband at work and say,
I
hey?
did call you. I did call you. You didn't answer the phone.
The moment of truth arrives.
It has been determined by this court that Mr. Gamboa, you are his father.
Thank you. Bond with him.
This case starts off wild with Ramirez saying Jordan does nothing for their baby. She says he was never there, never helped, and never bought a single diaper. Jordan fires back, calling her a pathological liar and saying he's not the dad.
You have dragged your ex-boyfriend to court because you are tired of him denying your 4-month-old daughter, Mila, and you're hoping today's results will make him finally step up. You claim to have evidence to prove that you were nowhere near the plaintiff during the time of conception, and therefore you cannot be Mila's biological father.
Jordan swears he was nowhere near Ramirez when Mila was made. He says he had moved on, but Ramirez says, nope, they were together that week. Someone is definitely lying, and it's about to get messier.
I'm just here to prove that Mila's not my baby. She's a liar, like pathological liar. We have 2 other babies together, and I've taken care of Levi and Adrian. Like, I've stepped up. I've changed their diapers. Like, Adrian was here for 7 months. I took care of him. I do everything for them.
You hadn't seen them in over a year.
You don't let me?
No, because you're broken. You don't have the money to come down.
Well, that's got nothing to do with anything, bro. I'll be there.
Ramirez pulls out a whole calendar like a school project, proving they had unprotected fun that week. Judge Lake does the math, and it kind of checks out. But Jordan is ready with some receipts of his own.
Mila was born December 6th.
Yes, that's correct.
You say you had sex with Mr. Jordan the entire week of March 18th through March 24th.
Yes, the whole week. Unprotected sex.
And this is the week you say you got pregnant.
Yes.
If we count back, that looks like it adds up.
Your Honor, that's not, she's lying.
Jordan drops a pay stub like a mic, proving he was in Georgia that whole week. Ramirez tries to explain it away, but then oops, she admits she slept with someone else too. And just when it can't get crazier, Jordan's pregnant girlfriend enters the chat.
I have proof right here that I was in Georgia. I got a pay stub.
So this is proof that
I was working in Georgia.
you were working in Georgia. This is a check for you, Elias Jordan, dated the 22nd of March, 2018. That's the week you say, Ms. Ramirez, he was down there with you.
He had said that he was gonna receive his other check late.
Jordan's new girl, who used to be his babysitter, yikes, says Ramirez told her Mila has another possible dad. Ramirez backtracks fast, saying she always said there was another possibility. Then Jordan's girlfriend drops a photo that changes everything.
She herself told me. She asked us to stay with the boys and that she's gonna take Mila to go see her dad. She didn't say, oh, this might be the dad. She said, I'm going to take Mila to see her dad. He's gonna give me money for her. He wants to see Mila.
The courtroom gasps as Jordan's girlfriend hands over a family-looking picture of Ramirez, Mila, and another man. Ramirez suddenly remembers this guy is also a small possibility. Judge Lake roasts her for her 5% chance math, and it's hilarious.
So this is a picture of Ms. Ramirez, Mila, and then the other guy?
Yes,
I've
Your
never
Honor.
posted that.
Well, this looks like a family portrait. Does he believe he's Mila's biological father?
He knows he's a possibility. That's what I've told him. He's only a possibility.
Because do I even need to go to this envelope? I mean, you talking in circles so much I'm getting dizzy.
Judge Lake looks tired of the nonsense and calls out Ramirez for being mad. Jordan moved on with the babysitter. Jordan says he'll step up if he's the dad, but Ramirez laughs at that. Then, out of nowhere, she drops a crazy new bombshell.
It was kind of a heat of the moment thing. Old feelings came back and just
For you?
not
You
what you were
slept
saying
with
when you
her.
were saying you missed me.
So she's the mother of 2 of your other children. So there's something about her you like a lot.
That he slept with me when they came to visit.
No.
Just recently, 2 weeks ago.
Ramirez suddenly shocks the court, saying she and Jordan hooked up 2 weeks ago while his pregnant girlfriend was around. Jordan flips out, denies it, but Ramirez gives details about a hotel and a car. The girlfriend is furious, and this love triangle, square, is officially out of control.
Day she actually took care of our kids in the car while I went to go pay for a hotel. We had went into the hotel to go check it out. And then not only that, but when you guys were at the mall, when I came down for my break and he had went to the car to go get their bottles and stuff, that's when we did it too.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
she's just trying to break us up. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
she's been
doing
trying
that,
to
bro.
do that for a while. I know what she's up to. She's a very emotional.
After all the chaos, the truth is finally here.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. George, you are the father.
This whole thing is straight up messy from the start. Mrs. Gamboa is tired of her husband accusing her of cheating, even with the babysitter. Mr. Gamboa swears the kid looks like the babysitter, and things only get wilder from here.
You say you're fed up with your husband because he's repeatedly accused you of cheating, even with the babysitter. All right, you're here today to set things straight because you say his doubt about paternity has led to the emotional neglect of your 1-year-old son, Dominic.
Imagine coming home and finding a random dude in your bedroom. Yep, that happened. Mrs. Gamboa says the babysitter was on the bed, not under the covers, so it's fine, apparently. Mr. Gamboa isn't buying it, and honestly, neither is the judge.
The babysitter was in the bed at the time that Mr. Gamboa came home, but I did not cheat on him.
No.
On your bed?
I was at work, Your Honor, and I got a phone call because we're all living in the same house. My stepfather had called me saying that the babysitter was asleep in my room on the floor.
8 kids, 1 couple, and a babysitter all under one roof? Mrs. Gamboa says there was nowhere else for him to sleep, so why not their room? Judge Lake is already shaking her head. And honestly, same.
The babysitter could have slept in the other room with his kids where they were at.
There were 8 children in the room.
Well, don't you think it would make sense for you to bring our kids into the bedroom where we sleep and let him sleep in the other room with his kids?
Mr. Gamboa is convinced Dominic is a babysitter clone. He starts pointing out dimples, head shape, and birthmarks, like he's on CSI. Then, he reveals he might be infertile, which makes everything way more awkward.
Your Honor, Dominic looks just like his father. He has the same dimple as our other son. That
I mean,
has
the babysitter
same,
walks like me too, and
no, he
look
doesn't.
at the back of his
No,
head.
The babysitter walks like you?
I mean, the back shape of his head too looks just like the babysitter's.
He has the same birthmark on the same arm as our
Your
other
Honor.
son.
Mrs. Gamboa is mad because her husband acts like Dominic doesn't exist. Mr. Gamboa says the kid never comes to him. And the judge is like, well, yeah, because you ignore him. Then Mrs. Gamboa whips out video evidence, and it is brutal.
He's mostly with his mom. He will not come to me. He cries. He throws a fit.
Brought videos of it. He doesn't bond with. He doesn't do anything with him. And now, even now, like he
Well,
doesn't.
the time
he don't change the diaper. He don't pick him up.
Mr. Gamboa says if Dominic isn't his, he's out. Mrs. Gamboa says they need counseling no matter what. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a spoon.
To find out Dominic wasn't mine, I'd be crushed. I want to grow a relationship with him, like.
Then you should have bonded with him from day one.
How can I bond with him if I have to work? I'm working 15-hour shifts.
That's an excuse. Exactly.
Dominic is not your biological son.
If he's not my biological son, I have to walk away from marriage. She was just lying to me the whole time.
The judge opens the envelope, and boom.
It has been determined by this court that Mr. Gamboa, you are his father.
Thank you.
This was beyond messy. One sentence turned a man's life upside down. Ms. Points admits she told Mr. Rowan he wasn't the dad just to be petty. Now she's back to prove he actually is, but things are about to go downhill fast.
You say you made the biggest mistake of your life by saying 5 words. You are not the father to the defendant. You opened this case to prove to the defendant that he is your daughter Sherelle's father so you can save your relationship with your daughter.
This poor girl grew up in a lie and had no clue. Sherelle says her mom's lies ruined her life and she just wants the truth. Little does she know, the truth is even worse than she imagined.
Your life has suffered significantly due to the lies your mother told you growing up. You want to rewrite your history and...
Your Honor, because I'm here to regain a relationship with my daughter. I don't hear from her. She don't call. I don't see her. I haven't seen her over a couple months now.
Ms. Points admits she caused this whole mess, but now she's crying about not seeing her daughter. She straight up says she told Mr. Rowan he wasn't the dad just to hurt him. If you think that's bad, wait till you hear what else she's been hiding.
And you admit you caused this drama by telling the defendant out of your own mouth that he was not the biological father.
All because, I was just
And you have
myself.
regretted that now.
Yes, I do.
Because as we tell so many young women in this courtroom, once you ring that bell, you cannot unring it.
Yes.
Mr. Rowan started doubting because his other kids have straight hair, but Sherelle's was curly. He still stepped up as a dad, but the doubt never left. Turns out, hair was the least of his problems.
Well, not only was it the fact of what she said, I wasn't the father, it's just I was there from day one since she was born, and they handed her to me and multiple other kids, and all my kids, even by different women, they hair as slick as glass, and she came out with this curly hair. Well, they ain't all got to take out to you, and I done heard of that before, so I was young and...
Mr. Rowan talks about their high school love story, but it's really just a mess. He was excited about his kids and even named Sherelle. Too bad he had no idea there was another player in the game.
We was in high school together. I get out of school, I would go home, and my mom, she'd be at work. Here come Miss Points every day. She'd come over, and Marcellus knock on the door, and I look out the window, and she,
Oh, was that a cat sound, and then you let the door in?
throw the key down, and she come on up, and we do our little thing, and...
Mr. Rowan says he never signs birth certificates because of child support. Ms. Points swears he did, but has zero proof. The judge calls for the real birth certificate, and trust me, it's about to get wild.
I was at the hospital when she was born. I named her Sherelle Sade.
Yes.
Birth certificates and me don't get along. She's saying I did, but
Yeah, you did.
nah, I don't do birth certificates because that's like incriminating myself. I'm not like, I'm not the biggest fan of child support. If kids, man.
Plot twist. Mr. Rowan's name is not on the birth certificate. Instead, there's a whole different man listed, and he didn't see that one coming. Ms. Points finally admits she lied, but somehow it gets worse.
You are not on Sherelle's birth certificate.
I know I didn't sign it. I don't do birth certificates.
But another man's name is.
I don't see how that could be. I mean, how was he even at the hospital when I was there named? I guess she had like a revolving door going or something.
After 29 years, Ms. Points finally admits she always knew the other man was the real father. Sherelle is heartbroken that her mom lied for so long, but it's time for the DNA test to speak for itself.
Do you know whose name is on there? You know who signed it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've known all these years, for 29 years, that this other man's name was on her birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
So when Mr. Rowan left, the other man came up to the hospital
Your Honor.
and then signed the birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rowan, you are not the father.
No.
This case is already a mess. Nothing like a husband doubting his own kid's paternity to kick things off. Judge Lake introduces the case of Casey versus Hatfill and says their marriage might not last if paternity isn't proven. Hatfill admits he has doubts that started when Casey got pregnant, and trust issues are about to make everything worse.
Mrs. Casey, you've been married to the defendant for less than a year. Due to your husband's trust issues, you're worried you won't make it to your 1-year anniversary if you don't prove he is the biological father of your son, Jacob Hatt. You say sleeping with the babysitter landed you in a marriage with someone you don't trust.
This love story is not cute. It broke one specific house rule. Casey met Hatfill while babysitting for his family, and they hit it off fast. The rule was, don't sleep with the babysitter. And well, that didn't last long.
I had started babysitting for his family. I saw him, thinking he was a cute guy. We started chit-chatting, and he had said they had told me the rules. It was, no running in and out of the house because it was hot that day, the air conditioner was on. Make sure the kids don't go in and out of the house, and no sleeping with the babysitter on duty.
Really?
I thought it was love at first sight.
And so you instantly fell for him?
Yes.
Hatfill finds sketchy messages from Casey's ex and starts questioning if Jacob is even his kid. The texts were from a guy asking Casey if she wanted to be his mistress after he got married. Casey says she never answered, but Hatfill is not buying it.
How did you get to a place where you thought she actually had slept with someone and Jacob may not be your biological son?
By coming across text messages in her phone.
Oh.
They would be to Miss Casey from somebody she was with prior to me.
And so these text messages read, "Are you up? What are you doing? I just got off. Can I come by?"
Just when you think it can't get worse, the ex randomly shows up at their house. The problem? The guy he was looking for was literally outside with Hatfill.
I was currently staying at her parents' house. I was sitting in the garage with one of her family members when the guy in question had come in the back door and knocked on our bedroom door. When the door come open and he realized I was sitting in the garage is when he spun around, grabbed the supposed person he was looking for and his current girlfriend and turned around and left.
Casey claps back, saying Hatfill was sending nudes to other women while they were in bed together. She insists she never cheated, but his family keeps stirring the pot. Judge Lake points out that neither of them seems very trustworthy.
But you're not pulling the part to where you cheated and you had other girls messaging you while I was still in bed with you. We were sleeping.
Right.
We were supposed to be sleeping, and you
You're
were
right.
sending nude pictures to another girl.
I haven't said any of that because all this doubt that's here
Yeah,
that's
so
caused
I
a
was
problem in our
doubted before we
relationship
happened
is the
to
whole
see Jacob.
reason
we were
that
still in
I even
Camargo
went
whenever
stepped
you were
out
still
then.
sending naked pictures to other females, and females were sending the same pictures to you.
Imagine pushing out a whole baby, and your husband immediately says, I don't know about this one. Casey says Hatfill doubted Jacob just 2 weeks after he was born. His family wasn't helping, sending messages saying she should find Jacob's real dad.
But they're denying him that he's yours. You've denied him when he was 2 weeks old that he was not yours.
He started to deny?
Yes, because he came out with the blonde hair and blue eyes.
And you're also receiving pressure and texts from his family indicating that they don't believe.
It makes me feel like I'm just a tramp or whatever, that I just, open my legs for anybody. I'd been faithful to this man for 3 years.
Hatfill thinks science is on his side and claims Jacob's one kidney proves he isn't the dad. Casey argues it doesn't have to be genetic and that the doctor said it could happen for random reasons. But since neither of them are doctors, the court brings in an expert.
Jacob has one kidney. He's had to have surgery. He has to see a urologist every 6 months to once a year now. I've been there every step of the way from birth to now with the boy. I just want to be able to take care of him the best as possible and get everything between me and her better, because to take care of him and his brother the best that we cannot have this back and forth.
Dr. Rogers explains that Jacob's condition is probably not genetic. She says it could be caused by environment, random mutation, or even diet, so it doesn't prove anything. Hatfill listens, but still looks very unsure.
A birth defect is a random error of conception that has no genetic basis at all. A genetic defect is when the chromosomes of mom and dad come together and something happens. When we talk about having one kidney or renal agenesis, it can be environmental. Is mom on a medication? Has she been exposed to some toxins?
The moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hatfill, you are the father.
This case started off like a full-blown reality show, and the judge hadn't even sat down yet. Mr. Carr says Ms. Villa has been running from a DNA test, while she insists he's the dad, with accusations flying already. This was about to be a wild ride.
Mr. Carr, you state that Miss Villa is a notorious cheater who tried to pin her daughter Trinity on you. You claim there is no way you are the father and had to open today's case because she's been running from you and a DNA test for 3 years.
Mr. Carr wastes no time calling Ms. Villa a serial cheater with the nickname Heartbreaker. He says he kept taking her back because he thought he could change her. Judge Lake isn't buying it and wants to know why he stayed if she was so bad.
Her nickname is Heartbreaker.
What does that
From the
have anything to
beginning
do with
of the
Trinity?
relationship that we had together, she was a liar, a cheater, no good for nothing, just to be honest.
But you still stayed with me. Yes,
Honor,
you did. You
she
continued to
stayed
have
with
sex
me.
with me and everything else, and you allowed me back.
The reason I kept taking her back because I wanted to prove, like, we both have a history.
This wasn't love at first sight. It was Facebook, a one-night stand, and boom, a baby. Mr. Carr says he wanted a real relationship.
How did the relationship start for you?
He hit me up on Facebook and went from a one-night stand to us having a kid.
That is a huge jump, Jerome. And it turned into a relationship
Yes.
from just meeting on Facebook.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you all decided, what is this, love at first sight for you all?
The problem was I couldn't get rid of her, Your Honor.
But Ms. Villa kept cheating. She says if he really wanted her gone, he should have spoken up. Ms. Villa admits she cheated, but insists it was mostly with the same guy. Mr. Carr says, nope, it was 8 different guys. Either way, this relationship was messier than a dropped ice cream cone on a hot day.
I told him each time he would let me leave, and I would come back and I let him know that I did it. And he still took me back.
And what would you let him know, Miss Villa?
That I messed around with the person I left with.
Was it always the same person?
Basically, yeah.
No, Your Honor, she
Yes, it
cheated
was.
8 different times with 8 different people.
8 different times with
Yes,
8
ma'am.
different people.
In the beginning, no. You're a liar.
Wait a minute.
Mr. Carr does the math and says her pregnancy timeline makes no sense. She told him she was pregnant just 3 days after they were together. Ms. Villa swears it happened on Valentine's Day in a moving car.
The times of conception was she slept with a man on the 31st of January.
Tony,
Me and
she
her
was-
slept together February the 14th. 3 days later, the 17th, she tells me that she's pregnant. I'm like, how are you pregnant?
Tony, you're a liar.
You
You're a
have
liar.
sex 3 days later and she tells you, now I'm pregnant.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you thinking like, how do you know you pregnant 3 days after we just have sex?
Exactly, Your Honor.
Yes, you heard that right. Ms. Villa claims the baby was conceived in the backseat while Mr. Carr's friend was driving. The courtroom collectively loses their minds. Meanwhile, Mr. Carr is still stuck on the January 31st guy.
You had sex with Mr. Carr where?
In one of his friend's car when he picked us up. He picked us up and we did it right there with him driving.
That was on the 14th.
Tell you I was pregnant until a couple of weeks later.
And that's the day you think Trinity was conceived?
Yep.
With Mr. Carr?
Yep.
After all the yelling, Mr. Carr breaks down, saying he loves Trinity but hates the doubt. Judge Lake sees the pain, but reminds him that feelings don't solve DNA mysteries. Everyone is waiting for the truth, but not before one more twist.
I'm not so sure, Your Honor. And it's hurtful because I have to
Mr.
live with
Carr-
this pain every single day.
Tony, you chose to
Trying
do that.
think.
You
She
were
chose
there
for you
on
to go
and
cheat?
off.
Do you have a relationship with her?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm with her every day of the week, just about. I play my role as a father. No matter what it is, no
Adorable.
matter how much pain or how much that eats me up inside, I still treat her like she's my own child.
Mr. Carr pulls out an entire map, claiming Ms. Villa moved 1,000,000 times to avoid the test. She says she moved for the kid, but Judge Lake looks skeptical. The tension builds as we get closer to the big reveal.
I was in Alabama, she was in Tampa, Florida. I tried to hook the cases together. As soon as she received the letter, she moves from Tampa, Florida to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. That's when we stayed together for the little bit that we did. From Decatur, Alabama, she moves from Decatur to Chicago, Illinois.
Plot twist. Ms. Villa's best friend says she did sleep with another guy during the conception window. The whole courtroom gasps because that is not what she just said. Judge Lake turns to Ms. Villa like, care to explain?
She did have a one-night stand with someone else.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Villa, that's not what you testified to here.
Period of time of me getting pregnant and stuff, I messed around with the guy a couple of weeks before him.
Miss Villa, was that sex protected sex or unprotected sex?
Unprotected.
Finally, the envelope is opened and
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Carr, you are the father.